Once again, it is time for the daily Ethno Guessr game. Um, no substances, no mind-altering substances today, aside from coffee. Um, yeah, I didn't even eat any food today, so maybe that could be something. Maybe that would help. That could help. Anyway, today it's time for today's Ethno Guessr game. This one immediately looks like I'd say something like Polish. The guy kind of looks like Wayne Gretzky a little. There's the Tronder one that's Scandinavian that this could be that one. I'm just torn between Eastern Europe and that Scandinavian one. I'm gonna go for Poland. It looks Polish to me. Okay, solid. This is one of those primitive Southeast Asian ones, and I feel it's either gonna be Borneo or Malaysia, and I don't remember which one's which. I'm gonna go for Borneo for this one. Okay, solid. This I believe is this a Tasmanian? I think so. This is obviously some type of Aboriginal Australian. For some reason, I feel like it's not the Tasmanian. Usually, for the dark one, I go for Tasmania. But I'm kind of like doubting that it's that for some reason. Okay, no, it was that. It was that. What am I saying? What am I saying? Okay, this one I think is another type of Southeast Asian. From what island? I think I remember this being like from around here. I'm gonna go for that. Fuck. But the other thing I was thinking was Philippines. Okay, I gotta try to remember that. The Atid. This kind of ancient type found in the mountains of the Philippine islands of Luzon, Mindanao, and Palawan, probably developed during the Paleolithic. Similar to Semengid. Rare today, usually mixed. Only a few thousand typical individuals remain. Okay, gotta try to remember that. So I feel like having my own thoughts on it is a better way to remember it. So there's this type of kind of black looking Filipino ancestor, basically. So, and this specific part of the Philippines, in the northern Philippines, this is gonna be tough to remember, but there's some type of like black, blackish looking Filipino ancestor, you know? And I have heard Filipinos described as a variation of the term the black people of Asia. So I will try to incorporate this all into my memory and remember this phenotype for future guesses. Let's move on to the next one. Again, I think this looks Eastern European. It could be Polish again, really. Do I go for I might just go for Poland again. I'm gonna go for a little bit more east, maybe around there actually. Let's go for that. All right. Um, Apparently it's a general Northern European, ancient Northern European variety, named after some of the Neolithic Borreby skulls of Denmark, but not all. Some emphasized resemblance with Cro-Magnons. Um, okay. I mean, my understanding, I don't know. I don't know. I've heard different things about European history. My understanding was that blonde hair was introduced to at least Western Europe by the Indo-Europeans who had DNA from the ancient North Eurasians. And actually, the oldest example of blonde hair was found like north of Mongolia. That's the oldest example of the genes for blonde hair we found, which seems strange, right? But that's the location. You can look it up. The oldest example of the genes for blonde hair were found in Mongolia, or sorry, north of Mongolia, in a population called ancient North Eurasians. And then that population was somewhat ancestral to the Indo-Europeans, were the ones who domesticated the horses, basically, and then spread into Western Europe. My understanding is that they introduced, like, there were two types of hunter-gatherers. This is before even this is before the Indo-Europeans, but also before the Anatolian farmer population that was before the Indo-Europeans. But there were Western hunter-gatherers, which was basically in most of Europe. Then there were Eastern hunter-gatherers. Eastern hunter-gatherers, I think, might have also had blonde hair, but at least in Western Europe, my understanding is that there wasn't blonde hair until the Indo-European expansion. So if this is saying the early Stone Age, the Neolithic, or the New Stone Age, that goes against my understanding. But maybe, who knows? You hear contradictory things sometimes. So and sometimes, there's propaganda, there's a bias. But yeah, I don't know. That does go against my understanding. Anyway, let's move on to the next phenotype. This looks vaguely Aboriginal Australian. I'm gonna say Papua New Guinea. Um, Basically, that's my reasoning. It looks vaguely Aboriginal Australian, not quite. It looks more like Papua New Guinea. I'm just gonna guess Central Papua New Guinea for that. Damn, okay. It was just Aboriginal Australian. Okay, so this one's a little bit, kind of got a little bit weaker features, I would say. Barinian. I gotta try to remember that. Barinian, like I could associate that with the Great Barrier Reef. Barinian. I don't know, is that where are we at? Bundaberg. Bundaberg is what I should think. This guy likes because Bundaberg is a type of Australian rum. This type of Aboriginal likes this type of rum. How am I supposed? Okay, how do I memorize that? It's gonna be tough to memorize these specific locations to get perfect for this type. Um, I'll just have to. I don't know how I'm gonna make that association. Dude, the Bundaberg rum has a polar bear on it, I think. Do these people look like polar bears? Not really. Anyway, I don't know how I'm going to remember that, but I will have to try to remember this specific Aboriginal group. This one looks Native American. Pretty Asian as well, though. Like, looks pretty damn Asiatic. I'm going to go for just the Amazon, somewhere in the Amazon. I'm going to go for there. Okay. Damn. I mean, kind of was the Amazon a little bit, but yeah, I feel like I should have got maybe a better score. Only 1,500 is not too good. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna guess Papua New Guinea again. Damn. Okay, we got some strange kind of groups for this one. A lot of Australian ones. This one, I believe I remember being the Basque one. I think. I hope so. Okay, yeah, it was. Not the best round. This is a pretty bad score. So this is Japanese. Central Japan should be perfect. Okay. That is not the best score. That was I guess it was maybe, I mean, still top 5% of players. But yeah, that I guess that was a tough game because that was not a very good score, but still in the top 5%. Um, yeah, got to try to remember some of those ones I got wrong, some of those specific Australian ones. But anyway, that is all for now.